Hi, we are continuing with the chapter related to comparing alternatives, but this time with the method of incremental analysis and IRR. So here I have 5 alternatives. You see that we arranged them in increasing order according to the initial investment. As we said that this one is going to be the base alternative because it has the least investment. I'm gonna compare those alternatives using incremental analysis and IRR. Now, which gonna be the best option? First of all, I need to compare the MAR, which is 10%, to the IRR of each project or each alternative alone. Now, the IRR of A is 10.6. Is it greater than the MAR of 10%? Yes, so it stays for the comparison. B is 13%, greater than the MAR of 10%. So yes, it stays. Now C is 9.6%. It is less than the MAR. So it doesn't get me the rate of return that I request. So from the beginning, I drop it from the comparison. I do not compare it with the rest. D is 19.1, greater than 10. E, 18.3, greater than 10. So here I will only have 4 options, A, B, D, and D. So right away, your first step from the beginning, once you have any set of alternatives, is comparing the IRR of each alternative to the MAR. If it's greater than the MAR, it stays for the comparison. Now, with those 4 left alternatives, A still has the least initial investment, so it's my base alternative. B is the next one in order, so I'm gonna compare B to A. So I'm gonna use incremental analysis. This means that I'm gonna develop a new column related to B minus A. I'm gonna subtract these values, 1500 minus 900, this value minus this value. I'm gonna get a new column. So it's gonna look like this. This is the new column related to incremental analysis of B minus A. So as we said, the value here is minus 600, which is as it should be. The first value in the initial investment should be a negative. So when I want to draw the cash flow diagram of B minus A, I have to begin with a negative arrow. Can I begin an investment and I'm gonna earn $600? No, you are investing in a project, so you have to pay money at year 0. So this is the correct way. So this is increment analysis of B minus A. The first value is minus 600. The annuity is 126. So this is the new cash flow diagram related to the incremental analysis of B minus A. Now, previously, we used to get the present worth of this new cash flow diagram. Now, the difference is that I'm going to get the IRR of this new cash flow diagram. And I will compare it to the MAR. If the IRR of this new cash flow diagram, which is related to B minus A, is greater than the MAR, then I will say that B is better. However, if the IRR of B minus A was less than the MAR, then A is better. So here my comparison is with the MAR. Now I see that the MAR of the IRR of B minus A is greater than the MAR, then B is better. So B becomes the new base alternative instead of A. So if I go back to the table, you will see that B was better than A, so A gets out of the comparison. So now I have to compare B to D, because B becomes the base alternative. So I'm going to do incremental analysis for D minus B, subtracting 4,000 from 1,500 and this value from this value. So it's going to look like this. This is the new table for D minus B. I'm going to get the IRR of D minus B. It is 22.6. I want to compare it to the MAR. It is greater than the MAR. Then who's better? It's going to be D. So D is better than B. Now, who's left in my comparison? If D is better than B, so I'm comparing E to D. In the same way, subtract this value from this value and this value from this value. You will get a new column, a new cash flow related to E minus D. I'm going to get the IRR of E minus D. You see that the IRR is also greater than the MAR, so this means that E is better. So I'm going to choose alternative E. Now the question can look in this way as well. Here in this table, we have two parts. This first part is related to each alternative, its initial investment, and it's arranged in order, and the IRR of each alternative. And in this part, we have the incremental analysis between the alternatives. So here, I don't want you to calculate the IRR of B minus A. It is already calculated for you. It is this value. Okay, here, this 20 is the comparison between C and A. Here, it is between C and B, and so on. So the IRR of C minus B is 12%. So here the IRR of the incremental analysis, you see, rate of return on increment analysis, it is already calculated in this table. Now, I'm gonna solve this exercise in 3 different ways. I'm gonna change the given in each time. Here, I'm asking if all investment alternatives are independent, okay, and the MAR is 10%, which of the following is correct? You remember when we explained the difference between the types of alternatives, we said that we might have independent alternatives. This means that I can choose them all if they have their IRR is greater than the MAR. So here I'm saying that they are independent and the MAR is 10%. So A has an IRR of 12%, greater than the MAR. B, 15, greater than 10, 13, 20, 18. So you see all of these alternatives has their IRR, rate of return, greater than the MAR. So this means that I can do them all. Okay? If I look at the options, you will see that we have the option of select them all. Now here I didn't have to look at this part of the table because I didn't have to do any incremental analysis. Because incremental analysis is done only to mutually exclusive alternatives where I have to choose only one option. But with respect to the independent, I can do them all if I have the proper budget. So please read the question carefully. So here I have a set of independent alternatives and I can do them all. Now, if I change the question and tell you if all the alternatives are mutually exclusive, this means that I'm going to choose only one, the best one, and the MAR is 12%, which one is the best? Here, the first step will be comparing the IRR of the alternatives to the MAR. It is 12%, so this one is good. All of them are greater than the MAR, so I will keep them for comparison. Now, since they are mutually exclusive, this means that I'm going to have to look at this second part of the table. And I want to start doing the comparison. First of all, since A is the base alternative with the least initial investment, it's going to be the first one to be compared with the next one, which is B. So I'm going to say here, IRR of B minus A, you see here B, comparing B to what? To A. So this is the IRR equals to 28% of B minus A. 28%. Is it greater than the MAR 12%? Yes. So which one is better? I'm getting the IRR of B minus A. So B is better. Now B remains in the competition. And I want to compare it with the next one, which is C. Now here I have two values. This one is related to IRR of C minus A. A is out, so I do not use this number. I'm comparing C to B. So this value, the 12%, is related to C. You see this is C and this is on the horizontal side, B. So this is the IRR of C minus B, which is 12%, equal to the MAR. So that means that still C is better. So it becomes the new base alternative to compare it with D. I'm comparing D with C. Now, which one of these values is related to the IRR of D and C? This one is related to D and A, D and B, and this is D minus C. So IRR of D minus C is 42% greater than the MAR, so D is better. Now I will have to compare it to E. What is the value related to D and E? This is E minus A, E minus B, E minus C, and E minus D. Okay, so the IRR of E minus D was minus 5, less than the MAR, so this means that E is not good. D will be the best solution. Since the IRR of E minus D, you see this is E, and this is D. and this is the IRR of E minus D, it is less than the MAR, so D is better than E. So this is the choice. Now, what if I tell you that these are still mutually exclusive alternatives, but the MAR is 25%? Which alternative should be chosen? We agree that the very first step is always compare the IRR of the alternatives to the MAR. It's 25%, so this one is less than 25. This one and this one and this one, all of them has their rate of return less than the MAR. So I will not choose any. Right away, all of these values will be excluded from the beginning. There's no need to go to this part of the table and do an incremental analysis because I'm gonna select none of them.